Welcome back guys to our channel. In this video, we will discuss the remaining questions of DUET Zoo 2020. अगर अभी तक आपने चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो प्लीज सब्सक्राइब द चैनल and hit the bell icon. Our question is, if Hydra is cut into many pieces, then what will happen? जैसा कि हम जानते हैं हाइड्रा रीजनरेशन शो करता है बाय मॉर्फोलेक्सिस इन विच देयर इज लिटिल न्यू सेल डिवीजन, देयर इज रीपैटरिंग ऑफ एग्जिस्टिंग टिश्यूज एंड सो the re-establishment of boundaries. So we don't need to get into the cellular level, and also as cells in Hydra have regenerative capacity, so all cells won't die. A piece of Hydra regenerates only when it contains ectoderm, endoderm, and the interstitial cells, which are undifferentiated cells. As there is repatterning going on for existing tissues, so portion having parental ectoderm and endoderm will develop into young Hydra. So our correct option is option C. Next question is, which of the following condition does not show multifactorial inheritance? Multifactorial inheritance का मतलब है कि many factors are involved in causing a health problem. The factors are usually both genetic and environmental. In this question, we are given 4 different diseases. We will discuss them one by one. First is pyloric stenosis. ये एक condition है when opening between the stomach and small intestine thickens. Next is our schizophrenia, which is a serious mental illness that affects how a person thinks, feels and behaves. Next is spina bifida. ये एक birth defect है in which a developing baby's spinal cord fails to develop properly. All of these 3 diseases, pyloric stenosis, schizophrenia and spina bifida, are caused by combination of physical, genetic and environmental factors. But our 4th disease, which is Marfan syndrome, it is an inherited disorder that affects connective tissue. So it will affect the heart, eyes, blood vessels and bones. In the Marfan syndrome, person inherits abnormal gene from parents who were the carrier of this disease. So our correct option is option D. Our next question is, cornea transplant in humans is almost never rejected because cornea admits and helps to focus the light waves as they enter the eye. Cornea is avascular, which means it has no blood supply. This part of eye absorbs oxygen directly from the air. As there is no blood supply over there, there are no lymphocytes, and we very well know that the T lymphocytes are responsible for the graft rejection. So which cells are responsible for graft rejection? T lymphocytes. So as there is no T lymphocytes, so the cornea transplant in humans is almost never rejected. So our correct option is option D. Our next question is, the modified dihybrid ratio due to recessive epistasis is, जब 2 या 2 से ज़्यादा जीन इन्फ्लुएंस करे किसी भी एक ट्रेट के आउटकम को, उसे हम जीन इंटरैक्शन बोलते हैं. कोई भी जीन इंटरैक्शन जो F2 डाइहाइब्रिड रेशो जो हमारी है 9:3:3:1 उसको चेंज कर दे किसी और रेशो में, उसे हम बोलते हैं एपिस्टेसिस. देयर आर डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ एपिस्टेसिस. In this table, we are shown different type of the epistasis. So in the question, we are given 4 options. So we can infer from this table that 9:7 ratio is obtained in case of complementary gene interaction in which 2 alleles complement each other. Means both of them are essential for showing a particular phenotype. Next is our 9:3:4, which is obtained in case of recessive epistasis, which is the form of epistasis in which a pair of recessive alleles of one gene can cause a masking effect on the expression of alleles at another loci. So our next option is 12:3:1, which is obtained in case of the dominant epistasis, in which dominant allele of one gene masks the effect of either allele of second gene. Next is 15:1, which is obtained for duplicate gene interaction, in which both gene loci produce the same phenotype without any cumulative effect. You can note down this table, which will be helpful for your further entrance exam also. And for this question, our correct option is option B, which is 9:3:4. Our next question is, which of the following aberration doesn't change chromosomal arm ratio? We can see that first two options are of inversion and last two options are of the translocation. So we can here see that the translocation and inversion going on. So inversion is a reversal of gene order in a gene block within a chromosome due to रोटेशन ऑफ अ क्रोमोसोम सेगमेंट बाय 180 डिग्री. इन्वर्जन हमारा दो टाइप का होता है, पेरीसेंट्रिक इन्वर्जन एंड द पैरासेंट्रिक इन्वर्जन. In the pericentric inversion, centromere is involved, so it can change chromosome arm length ratio. But in the paracentric inversion, the centromere lies outside the inverted part of the chromosome, so chromosome arm length ratio don't change. Next is the translocation, which is shifting of a chromosome segment to a different chromosome. It is again of the two type, reciprocal translocation and non-reciprocal translocation. In reciprocal translocation, equal sized fragments are exchanged between the two homologous chromosomes, and in the non-reciprocal translocation, there may be no exchange between non-homologous chromosome but only a shift from one linkage group to another linkage group. So our correct option will be option B, because in the option B only the centromere is not involved, so chromosome arm length ratio don't change. Next question, we are given two different parents which are crossed together, and we have to calculate the portion of a particular progeny. As we know, allelic pairs segregate independently from each other at time of gamete formation. So when we cross two heterozygous parents, the homozygous recessive progeny obtained will be 1/4. And when we cross a heterozygous parent with the homozygous recessive parent, the homozygous recessive progeny obtained will be 1/2, because it's a type of test cross. So calculate the portion of particular progeny. We can apply the product rule. We can independently cross them and then finally multiply them to get our answer. So we will multiply 1/4 into 1/4, 1/2 into 1/2 and 1/4, and we get 1/256, which is our option D. Our next question is, in a population of 60 individuals, 42 people were found to have an allele for polydactyly, out of which only 38 were found to have an extra digit. So what the penetrance of this is? Penetrance in genetics is the portion of individuals carrying a particular variant of a gene which is genotype that also express an associated trait which is phenotype. The penetrance is given as portion of individuals showing a particular phenotype divided by portion of individuals which are able to show that phenotype. As you can note down this formula. So according to this formula, we will divide 38 by 42, because 38 people have an extra digit and 42 people have allele for this digit, and we get the answer is 0.90, which is our option C. Our next question is, achondrosis is a form of cell death which arises when one of the following proteins detaches from the extracellular matrix. Identify the cell adhesion molecule. Anoicosis is a form of programmed cell death that occurs in encourage-dependent cells when they detach from the surrounding extracellular matrix. Encourage-dependent cell वो सेल होते हैं जो ग्रो करते हैं when they are attached to a solid support. Cells stay close to the tissue to which they belong, since the communication between the proximal cells as well as between cells and extracellular matrix provides essential signal for growth or survival. Integrins are proteins used by the animal cells to attach to extracellular matrix. So, in anacasis occur when integrin detach from the extracellular matrix. So, our correct option will be option B. Next question is, which pathway relies on activated SMADs to transduce its signals? We are given 4 different pathways. First is Notch signaling that regulates cell fate determination during development and maintains adult tissue homeostasis. Next is WNT signaling, which is important during the embryonic development in animals. TNF signaling pathway is in the regulation of immune cells. TGF-beta, transforming growth factor beta, has lot of downstream signaling and SMAD is one among them. When the TGF-beta operates through SMAD, then this pathway is known as canonical pathway. Receptor for TGF-beta are serine threonine kinase, which are made of 2 polypeptide, type 1 and type 2. जब TGF-beta आता है और interact करता है receptor के साथ, then type 2 will phosphorylate type 1 and type 1 now will phosphorylate the transcription factor which is called as SMAD. SMAD now will translocate to the nucleus and brings about changes in gene expression. So our correct option is option B. Next question is, if cardiolipin biosynthesis decrease in eukaryotic cells, then what will happen? Cardiolipin or diphosphotylglycerol is an important phospholipid present in the inner mitochondrial membrane and constitutes about 20% of total lipid composition. As our ETC is present in the inner mitochondrial membrane, which is the chief site of mitochondria for synthesis of ATP. So when cardiolipin biosynthesis is decreased, ATP synthesis is also affected as it disturbs the entire ETC. So our option B is the correct answer. Our next question is, Sabin polio vaccine consists of trivalent oral poliovirus vaccine, which is called as Sabin polio vaccine, is developed in 1950 by Albert Sabin. It consists of a mixture of live attenuated poliovirus of all 3 serotypes. It is inexpensive and effective and offer long-lasting protection from all 3 serotypes of poliovirus. So correct answer is option A. Our next question is, Bence-Jones proteins discovered in urine of myeloma patients are. Bence-Jones protein is a monoclonal globulin protein light chain found in the urine with a molecular weight of 22 to 24 kilodalton. Detection of the Bence-Jones protein is suggestive of multiple myeloma. The protein are immunoglobulin light chain and are produced by neoplastic plasma cells. They can be kappa or can be lambda. They are found in urine as a result of decreased kidney filtration capabilities due to kidney failure and sometimes induced by hypercalcemia from the calcium released as the bones are destroyed or from the light chain themselves. So the correct option is option A. Next question is, the correct route through which the pulse making impulse in the heart is. As we know, the entire heart is made of the cardiac muscles. A specialized cardiac musculature called as nodal tissue is also distributed in the heart. A patch of this tissue is present in the right upper corner of right atrium, which is called as sinoatrial node. Another mass of this tissue is seen in lower left corner of right atrium, close to atrioventricular septum, which is called as atrioventricular node. A bundle of nodal fiber, which are AV bundle, continues from AVN, which pass through the atrioventricular septa to emerge on the top of interventricular septum and immediately divided into right and left bundle. These branches give rise to minute fibers throughout the ventricular musculature of the respective sides and are called as Purkinje fibers. These fibers, along with right and left bundle, are known as bundle of His. The nodal musculature has the ability to generate action potential without any external stimuli, which means it is auto-excitable, and the sinoatrial node is known as the pacemaker of the heart. So, correct route will be the impulse travel from SA node to the AV node, then to bundle of His, then through the Purkinje fiber to heart muscles. Next question is, which of the following is controlled by autonomous nervous system? The human neural system is divided into two parts, the central neural system, which is CNS, and the peripheral neural system, which is PNS. CNS includes both the brain and the spinal cord and is the chief site of information processing and control. The PNS comprises of all the nerves of the body associated with CNS. The PNS is further divided into two divisions, which are autonomic neural system and the somatic neural system. The somatic neural system relays impulse from the CNS to the skeletal muscles, while the autonomic neural system transmits impulse from the CNS to the involuntary organs and the smooth muscles of the body. In this question, the knee-jerk response and the papillary reflex are controlled by the CNS and the spinal cord, while the swallowing of food is involuntary action. Only the peristalsis is an involuntary action controlled by the autonomic neural system. Peristalsis is a series of wave-like muscle contraction that moves food to different processing stations in the digestive tract. In this question, if we are given pupillary reflex instead of the papillary reflex, then our answer will be both A and D. But we are given the papillary reflex. So we need to take care of this, that we are given papillary reflex and only the peristalsis is controlled by the autonomic nervous system. So our option D will be the correct answer. The next question is, the non-descendance of testes into the scrotal sac is referred to as cryptorchidism. A combination of genetics, maternal health and other environmental factors might disrupt the hormones, physical change and nerve activity that influence the development of testicles. The under-descendant testes are associated with reduced fertility, increased risk of testicular germ cell tumors and psychological problem when the boy is grown. So our answer will be option D. थैंक यू गाइज. अगर आपको वीडियो पसंद आया हो तो प्लीज़ लाइक द वीडियो एंड शेयर इट.